Backyard Farmer is a co-production of Nebraska Public Media and Nebraska Extension. Tonight on Backyard Farmer, we'll look around the plant world to recommend some red, white, and blue ornamentals and see what's eating this cabbage. That's all coming up next, right here on Backyard Farmer.
Hello again and welcome to Backyard Farmer. I'm your host Kim Todd and we've got another great program for you as we answer those gardening questions. This is a taped program tonight, so we cannot take your calls, but we can still take your emails and pictures for a future show, and that address is byf@unl.edu. We need to know as much information as you can give us, including where you live. Don't forget to check us out online for more garden tips, videos, and announcements on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So let's get to samples. And Kyle, that's a teensy-weensy one, but there are lots around right now, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So see if he'll cooperate okay with me. But here I have a European earwig. And so you can see I'm handling it. This is kind of the time of year where I start to get a lot of questions about these. The last several years, they have been in very large numbers throughout the area. And right around now, they're becoming adults and we're starting to see them come inside. And a lot of people do have concerns, questions. They can look kind of intimidating. If you touch them, you will see that they'll try to kind of pinch you with those little forceps they have at the end of their abdomen, but they're actually quite harmless. When they do get in large numbers, they can be damaging to some flowers occasionally in the landscape, as well as vegetables. But really the biggest concern is just them coming inside and kind of being a nuisance pest. So we have seen large numbers coming inside. They're generally pretty dependent on high moisture. So, you know, doing some things to kind of mitigate that around the landscape can help reduce their numbers. So, you know, reducing mulch, you know, something like watering more, you know, deeply, but less often. That's something that's just good practice anyways, but that can help kind of dry out and reduce their numbers, and then try to seal up any cracks and crevices, you know, especially focusing around doors. That can also be helpful, although, you know, they have a knack for sort of getting through anything anyways, but they are harmless. So, you know, if you see them, just vacuum them up, sweep them up, whatever.
All right, thanks, Kyle. Okay, Terry, munching on clover.
Yeah, so I'm seeing more and more of this in turf this year. I'm not quite for sure why, maybe just a really good year for this, but more and more people are actually leaving this in their turf, and I leave it in my turf. I don't think it's that bad. It will actually kind of stay underneath your mown height, so it'll actually kind of grow a little bit lower than where you're actually mowing it, but it is a great pollinator. So you can see it's out there blooming right now. We're not seeing a lot of turf stuff or early stuff blooming, but this is a good pollinator if you wanted to do that. It's also a nitrogen fixer, so if you are having this in your turf, then it is actually indication that you have a little bit of low fertility, but it's not bad for your turf, so maybe consider just leaving it.
All right, I like it too. Mike.
Yeah, well, the pathologist is going big or going home, I guess. So I brought in some fire blight on a crabapple, actually from our front yard. And you can see the twigs here. I wish I could have found the end of a twig that was turned over all the way. It looks like a shepherd's crook, that's what they call it. And the blossoms are the infection point here. So the bacteria gets in on the blossom, moves into the xylem, and ultimately plugs up the xylem. And it's called fire blight because it looks like the plant is torched. The leaves oftentimes will stay on the plant. The tricky thing with this is you have to go 6 to 8 inches, maybe 10 inches to prune it out. And so unfortunately for me, hidden in here was another twig, and so I had to take this branch. But it is a pretty healthy tree otherwise, and I got it out of there before I had to do any aggressive pruning. fire blight.
Excellent. Okay, Scott.
I brought red, what is this? This is red Queen Anne's lacer, also known as Dara. It's a biannual. It didn't like the trip down from Omaha to Lincoln, so it's a little droopy. But what's really great about this plant, it has outstanding mauve, pinkish flowers. That compound umbel is just really stunning. Since it is a type of Queen Anne's lace, it can self-seed, and you get these really fascinating seed heads that will close up after those flowers have been pollinated, and then they will drop pretty much anywhere. It is slow to spread, so if you don't want it popping up where it's at, just rogue it out. But keep in mind, this plant can grow tall. The label says anywhere from 3 to 4 foot. Right now, we're at 5 to 6 foot. So keep that in mind. Big plant, beautiful flowers, and something to try.
And we did decide that the ones doing this
Yes,
are
it's,
what?
the little fireworks right now, because they're kind of droopy, so they're kind of like sparkles coming down.
There we go, in honor of the 4th.
There we go.
All right, first round of questions. Kyle, come to you. One picture on this, she found, and this is Omaha, she found this insect on a bean leaf, and a bee came out from under it and flew away. Do you know what the insect is, and is it damaging?
Nope, it's not. It was, I believe, a dragonfly, and I think it probably had been caught by a bird and most of it eaten, and then a wasp was making a meal of the remains.
Okay, let's see, from rural Columbus, she has roses that are turning brown before they're opening. She found a worm, lots of webbing, and some weevil-like insects inside the flowers. They're using a spray, but it's not working.
Yeah, this one does seem like there's quite a few things going on here. So it looks like there's some pretty characteristic spider mite injury there, as well as the webbing. And then there's a few weevils present, so probably imported longhorn weevils, but there's a few species it could be. So the weevils I wouldn't be as concerned about. They'll do a little bit of feeding on the leaves, but I would definitely try to do something about the spider mites. They generally are favored by hot and dry conditions, so just kind of a good overhead spray. Doing that a few times can help reduce those numbers, and otherwise an insecticidal soap or horticultural oil can be a good option, but I would definitely stay away from any sort of insecticides for spider mites.
All right, and 2 pictures on the next one. This comes from rural western Oto County. He was out picking Japanese beetles from the raspberries and then found what he's calling a creature feature on the raspberry, 2 inches long, beneficial, harmful. What is this?
Neutral. This is the caterpillar for one of the zale moths. So it's a group of moths that are called zales, probably a lunate zale, but not for sure on the species. But yeah, they're not really any a problem.
What does that moth look like?
You know what? I actually don't really even know what the adult moth looks like.
Because it's unusual,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah, okay. Terry, 2 pictures from Omaha. Here's wondering what this is, and is there any way to control it in a prairie restoration plot? They pull and pull and pull and pull, and it goes to seed and it comes back.
Well, this is dayflower, so this is one that's kind of a little troublesome to kind of control. Interesting morphology about this plant is that when you have it go to seed, the flower has about 5 seeds in it. However, that the roots also have underground flowers, and those roots will look like little nodules, or flowers will look like nodules on the roots, and those will have 3 seeds in them, and those seeds actually last longer than the seeds that would fall off from the above ground flower. So if you actually want to control this, you're gonna have to literally dig the whole plant out. You can't just pull it and leave the roots, because you're still leaving seeds behind it because of those underground flowers. So If you're going to control it, two ways to control it: by pulling it out, digging it out completely, or if you wanted to use a chemical treatment, depending on where it is and how it is, you would probably need to use some kind of surfactant because it's very waxy. So you need that chemical to be able to stick on it.
All right, one picture from this one. Is this a weed? Is it a seeded plant? It's in the produce garden. How does he get rid of it and keep it from coming back?
This is stinging nettles, I'm pretty sure. So if this is as big as it is, removing this very carefully with gloves and long sleeves would be very critical. However, Kyle would like you to keep it because it is a good wildlife plant for like painted ladies and those kinds of things. So I guess you can choose
one or the other.
What you want to do with it. So.
All right, 3 pictures on this one. This comes from Omaha. She found this growing in her perennial bed, weed or a flower. And she's got one here that shows how big this foliage is.
Yeah, I think this is one of the broadleaf plantains, I think. It was kind of hard to tell with it all kind of pieced apart, but really the best way to control this is don't let it go to seed, and then do a chemical control in the fall, because this is a perennial and it'll actually do a better control for you in the fall. Those netted roots will really, it takes a lot, and fall time would be best.
All right, thanks. Mike, one picture here. This is near South Lincoln, 20-year-old grapes. Last 10 years, he's been getting these rots and spots on the grapes.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite diseases of grape, but it's also pretty insidious. It's called black rot of grape, caused by Gignardia bidwellii, a really cool name. Unfortunately, at this stage, once it's on the fruit, the fruit will actually dry up and it'll look like a raisin. We call it a mummy. It's pretty tough to control at this stage. In fact, the fungicides, you can't spray this late in the game. Sanitation is really, really important from season to season. So getting rid of all of the infected berries, cleaning up at the base of the vines is really important for season to season control.
Great. 2 pictures on this one. Leaves on the green beans have these spots, and you have another picture. These are all from Omaha, from a different viewer. Mm-hmm. And what's wrong with
I think
that one?
I think all of the bean pictures that I looked at are a bacterial infection on the beans called halo blight. You can kind of see that where you have a necrotic spot with a yellow halo around that. Sometimes you'll see it on the margins of the leaf. So I think that's what's going on. Crop rotation is really important, so don't plant beans after beans. You want to rotate every 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
Okay, and 2 pictures on this one. This is south of St. Paul on the Middle Loop. So this is cantaloupe, and she sent us some pictures of leaves and then the petiole.
Yeah, this was a tricky one for me. It's definitely a fungal disease. It's kind of hard to see on that picture, but if you get up close and personal, there's a lot of necrotic tissue, and then there is a brown or a dark stripe that's coming down the petiole. Maybe alternaria. I'd really need to see a sample to take a look at this. And again, an image of the whole plant would be terrific, just to see how widespread this is, and a little information about when symptoms began to be expressed.
Great, thanks, Mike. One pick, Scott. This is zucchini, and a lot that are doing this.
Blossomindra isn't reserved just for tomatoes. We can see on a lot of our vegetables, from zucchini to eggplant to peppers. What you want to do is keep the plant mulch. Try to keep it evenly moist or watered. If you're concerned about calcium in the soil, you could do calcium. Have your soil tested first before you add anything to the ground. But try to keep it mulched and evenly moist.
All right, 3 from Hooper. 2 volunteer plants in the garden. She thought they were pumpkins. She knows that one of them has some really funky fasciation, but then she's got some pictures of the squashkins or pump squash or whatever they are. And what do we think they are, and are they edible?
It is a squash. I think it's a type of summer squash because it's a volunteer. We don't know what was cross-pollinated. We don't know the parents. You can try it. It's not poisonous. You can eat it. Fasciation's just really fascinating. It's when the apical meristem goes wonky. But yes, you should be able to eat it. Might not be tasty, but it's worth a shot.
All right, and 2 pictures on this one. This is from Benson area of Omaha. What is on this lily?
I was so excited about this question. I went down the rabbit hole. Asiatic lilies. Yes, Asiatic lilies are a cross between 2 different types. One of the parent types is Lilium davidi or davidi, and it's known for its woolly leaf axils. And that genetic trait can be brought forward into all the different hybrids. This is normal. It's fascinating. Nothing to worry about.
And we're glad it's not those aphids.
Yeah, it's not those woolly aphids or mealybugs.
Well, let's take a few moments to check out some of the many perennial plants that you could use to create America's red, white, and blue in your garden. Every year I do something around the 4th of July on red, white, and blue flowers for the landscape, partly because I love them and partly because why not? Here's the interesting thing though, you can get an awful lot of red if you're using annuals. It's a little harder with perennials. So I went off to the garden centers and I got some red, some white, some blue, some silver, lots of green, so we can talk about how you could actually create color combinations, including red, white, and blue, from start to finish. Now, obviously, this is not the spring season, so I don't have anything that's flowering red, white, or blue for spring, but you can also always use foliage. And the cool thing about it is even if you don't like this combination, you can try it in other seasons of the year simply by adding other colors, because obviously perennials are not going to flower from spring to fall like annuals do. The other thing you can do is you can mitigate the colors by using foliage colors. We have a lot of really dark, deep reds that are in shrubs now, in the shrub world, and that would become sort of a quiet backdrop or a bold backdrop if you put something like the silver artemisia in front of it, or one of the daisies. You've got spiky forms, you've got coreopsis that is going to be the daisy-like form, yarrows, even little bitty ones like Peter Cottontail, Stokes aster, which is one that is not here, but it's one we have in the garden. Of course, you can use roses if you like roses. Cardinal flower is a little bit touchy. It belongs in wet locations. Jacob Klein Monarda is one of the best of the best. We don't have any right now, but it is spectacular in terms of red, and the pollinators love it. Again, what the breeders are doing is they're coming up with good, stable colors of varieties of some of our tried and true perennials. We have the salvias and we have the veronicas that are blue, bluish, more blue. Some of the phlox, garden phlox, is gorgeous. David is white. They haven't come up with quite a true red yet. You'll see perennials that have cherry red in the name. And remember that some of them are going to fade to more of a pinkish color. Again, you can choose these color combinations. You can do drifts, you can do masses. Once they go quiet in the garden, then you'll use something else. So if you like red, white, and blue, or you like red and blue, or you like blue and silver, and you want that season long, add asters for the fall. Add a couple of our other native plants that are going to bloom red and give you the hummingbirds to come in and actually enjoy those as well. And remember that red will fight a little bit with green. So again, you've got those color combinations that are going to work together. There's so many more choices, including some little-known natives. And if you want that year-round fireworks color, pick spring and fall bloomers and shrubs and trees with bold foliage or flowers in deep wine red, white, and blue. All right, let's see. From Weston on this one, Kyle, worms are usually crawling by the hundreds on their house. spray them with home defense, it kills them, but they come back. What are they?
Yeah, this one's Millipedes. Very much like the earwigs that I talked about earlier, kind of associated with wet environment, decaying organic matter. They do come inside in large numbers sometimes, and it's not always clear why, but mitigating some of the water issues around the landscape can kind of help reduce their numbers. Spraying, you can use that to supplement, but it's probably not going to ever have a long-term impact. It will just kind of knock down things immediately there, but that's about it.
All right, 3 from Pierce, and this is a pine about 40 years old, and then she's seeing this happen. She's wondering if it will infect the other trees. So we have some sap, we have some holes, we have things going on here.
Yeah, this one's interesting, and I would actually like to see some more images that maybe where we can kind of see a little bit more of the trunk to maybe have a little bit better perspective of what's going on. I think looking at these holes, it's probably sapsucker injury rather than insect related.
Right.
In which case, not anything to necessarily be concerned about. Sometimes they will, those birds will revisit and kind of continually injure that same tree, and I think you can wrap with burlap if that happens during that feeding season, but I don't think it's an insect-related issue that they need to be worried about.
Great. 2 from Omaha. This is a 1-year-old apple. It's an Ashmead's kernel, which has little, she's calling them cocoons, and they look like bagworms, but...
They are bagworms, yeah. So, they're not really too concerning on deciduous trees, so I would just handpick those off because the trees, they regrow those leaves. They don't really cause any long-term harm to the tree, but you don't want them spreading, so I'd just pick off what you can find.
All right, great. Thanks, Kyle. All right, Terry, 1 from David City. Can you identify this? She assumes it's a weed because she didn't plant it.
Yeah, so this is buckhorn plantain, so related to the one that I had before, just a little bit thinner, narrower leaves. Again, has that very kind of fibrous network of roots that it's kind of hard. Where this is at, I think you can just go out with your spade and dig this up. So don't let it go to seed, because otherwise you'll have them all over your turf later. But again, if you're going to do it with a chemical treatment, then fall is going to be the best time, just continually mowing it. But thank you for waiting till it flowered for us to identify it. Sometimes that's a little easier.
That's right. All right, 2 from Lincoln, that's an ash removed, and then 2 more from Lincoln that was an elm removed, and it's kind of tricky. Grinding the stump, chips were removed, 50-50 mix, 6-foot diameter, 12 to 16 inches high on this one, what to do. And I think your next set of pictures is the stump was removed and chipped, and now they've got nutsedge coming up where it was.
Yep. So the first one, I want you to kind of try to get out as much soil as you possibly can and bring in some good soil. It's gonna help a little bit more for you. And then you'll probably have to bring in some more because it will settle, because they've made a lot of damage there. I would go ahead and see if you can get some a sod to put down. That would help you get it up and going a little bit quicker to kind of protect that area and get it up and going. And then in the spring, you can go in with some overseeding to get that done. The second one, so they've already done that. So they did that last fall, and you have yellow nutsedge. So yellow nutsedge needs to be controlled technically the longest day of the year. So we're a little bit behind where we're supposed to be, but you can go ahead and get sulfentrazone and spray that on, and it will most likely take multiple applications, and it might take a couple years to get rid of it completely, unless you want to go out there with your soil knife and pull it out.
You and the soil knife. All right.
I had to get it in somewhere.
Let's see, Mike, 2 pictures. This is a curly willow south of Lincoln, 15 years old. Started dropping yellow leaves, and then it's got this one side that's really kind of wonky.
Yeah, three things. Age of the tree, the heat, moisture, that combination and the wild mood swing that we've had recently with the weather could be a disease, but I'm guessing it's more physiological and stress related. So you know, water management, can't do much about the heat, and then the age of the tree.
Okay, 3 for this one. This is, what is this rot or spot on his Cleveland pear? He knows one pruning cut at ground level would cure it, but his wife would be highly unhappy about that.
Well, the good news, based on the image that I looked at, crown pruning is not required for this specimen, but this is related to my specimen that I brought in today. I think it's fire blight, and you know, from what I could tell, just find where the canker stops and go down 8 to 12 inches, and prune that out, and just be vigilant on there. The longer you let it go, the lower on the plant you will have to trim, and that becomes a problem.
So 3 on the next one, Mike. This is a service berry, 17 years old. It's this dark line with cracks on a main branch. He wonders, should he cut it off? Will it die from this?
Yeah, this one I think is also probably fire blight. If you see that first picture, you were getting flagging in the canopy. And then this picture in particular, where there's a bifurcation, which is a really common deal, there's a pretty large canker there. The image that image was impressive. This is really the first time I've ever seen darkening on that main trunk. There's some other damage on the lower right-hand side of this image, but I think that's probably from mowing or weed whacker. So I think, unfortunately, this one, if it were my tree, I'd get rid of the foliage, pruning that out. I'd watch and see what happens on that left side, and you know, hopefully it's not fire blight. And if it is, the tree will be compromised, and it'll be apparent in a couple of years what needs to be done. So.
All right, thanks, Mike. 3 picks on this one for you. This is 4 new red hydrangea plants, Scott. Planted in full sun in May. They were doing great, and now they've got things going on. So what do we think here?
It's summer. The plants are small. They have a small root system. As they get established, it's going to be able to buffer the weather that we're having. It looks environmental stress, but you could go out and go ahead and just pop those flowers off the plant. That will be one way to help reduce the stress and water loss, but also make sure that you're not overwatering. We tend to love our plants to death, so stick your finger in the soil by the base of the plant to see if it needs moisture before you water.
All right, 2 pictures from Lincoln near Holmes Lake. What caused her spiderwort plants to just basically mush off? Happened last year also. In one day, what happened?
A couple things, actually 2 things come to mind. The plants look really mature. It's a nice stand, so maybe this is a good opportunity to go in and maybe thin them out, divide the plants, and sometimes spiderworts will just lay down after they flower. So you could cut the plants halfway back after they're done blooming to see if that might help mitigate what's going on, but they might just need a little bit of thinning because they look like they've been there for a while.
Excellent. And 1 picture from David City. This is dwarf Alberta spruce, 3 leaders, and she wonders, should she chop 1 out, 2 out, or leave it alone?
If you chop 1 out, it's going to look really funky. So the best thing, just leave it as it is, enjoy it while you can. It's really close to the home. So eventually it's going to reach those eaves and it will probably have to come out regardless. But for right now, just leave it alone. You don't want to disfigure a relatively good looking plant.
All right, thank you, Scott. Our garden is a proud All-America Selections display garden. We've got many examples planted and blooming right now, and here's Terry to showcase one of them in the Backyard Farmer Garden.
This week in the Backyard Farmer Garden, we're going to start looking at all of our new All-America Selection winners for 2026. The first one we're going to look at is the Rudbeckia. It's Claire Orange. Hasn't gotten very wide yet, but wow, do those flowers look fantastic. Is actually introduced as the world's first pollen-free Rudbeckia hybrid. So those of you with bad allergies, this might be one that you'd want in your garden. It is very compact and it has been flowering very early, just like they said, and it has been staying very uniform. It only gets to be about 12 inches tall and it should be blooming all summer long right through the fall. The bloom size is a big 3 inches across and it is a very pretty gold color. So if you're looking at wanting to add a new perennial into your garden, why don't you try this Rudbeckia Claire Orange? Stop by the Backyard Farmer Garden this week to check it out.
Thanks, Terry. It's time for our social media question of the week. We got a photo from Leslie McHouston highlighting different kinds of peppers that really aren't looking right. So Mike, are these mutations? Are these, what's going on? Different varieties get different things. Is this a rot in a spot or is this not?
I don't think it's a rot in a spot. Typically when I see all the different varieties or cultivars reacting the same, that indicates to me, Kim, that it's something in the environment. It could be heat, temperature, not knowing when these peppers were planted.
Right.
I also know from our own garden that if there's drift of herbicide, sometimes you get this kind of activity. It would have been great to see some of the foliage. I think that would have given us some clues.
Right, and I think that's a good point, Mike, because people will send us a leaf or a pepper or one little piece of a plant, and then it really does help if we get more information.
Yeah.
Should she do anything about this other than nothing?
I'd say if she's interested in kind of tracking this down, it would be great to see some additional images of the leaf, the foliage, and yeah, that would be the next step, I think.
All right, thanks, Mike. We
You
hope
bet.
that helps her. Go to our social media pages and post a question and a picture. You just might show up on the big board next week. Now it's time to take a short break. Coming up, we've got the lightning round, the plant of the week, and the weekly weather forecast. We will be right back. Welcome back to Backyard Farmer. Later in the show, we'll take a close look at something that's feasting on our cabbage plants, but not on the broccoli right next to it. Remember, tonight's program is taped and we cannot take your calls, so send those pictures and emails to byf@unl.edu. Right now, it is time for the lightning round. Scott. Milkweed plants are yellowing and dying. They are on the south side of the house. Too hot, too wet, too dry, too milky.
It's probably too wet.
Okay. From Burwell, she has spirea that are sickly yellow. She's wondering if iron might be needed.
Probably not. It could be nitrogen. It could be a couple different things, but you might send a sample in.
All right. Is it safe to make catnip tea with catnip where the cat has zoned out?
I am going to pass on that one.
All right. From Hardington, she has 7-year-old Candy Crush phlox, which is now blooming white. What happened?
Reversion, plants can revert back to parent types.
All right. Asters are curling, and she knows it's not drift. Can she cut or pinch the curly tops off?
You could, they just might bloom a little bit later.
All right. Nice job. Mike, you're up.
All right, Kim.
This is a, we don't know from where, but there is splitting bark on the trunk of a maple. And now there is a white fungus growing in the split. Should that be treated or is it time for a new tree?
Wow, I'd be curious if it was on the south side and maybe some heat stress. I'd say send in a sample.
All right. what are this is Omaha, virus differences between cherry and hybrid tomatoes? They say their cherries don't have anything that looks bad and the others do.
Well, there are some viruses that go to many different hosts, and then there are some species-specific viruses, but I'm stuck on that one.
All right, what diseases should we expect first in the turf with this weather change?
Yeah, I think next week we're going to start seeing serious turf disease with this moisture and this heat. So things like brown patch will start coming into the mix, no question there. And some diseases like dollar spot might actually go out. We'll see rust on the ryegrass.
All right, nice job, and you've forgotten it's lightning.
Yeah, that's it.
Pathology
okay.
forgets.
I want Scott to win today.
Did you hear that? Okay, it's Scott's turn. All right, Terry from Johnson Lake, they seeded buffalo grass 2 weeks ago. They've got nothing that is germinated. What's up with that?
Depending on how you seeded it, if you got it deep enough, you could have maybe had some animals take it too.
Okay.
Not for sure.
Sod went down Monday in the middle of Lincoln on a property. Monday, how often should they water that sod?
Probably 3 or 4 times a day.
Okay.
In this heat, yes.
Is it possible to spread herbicide on your shoes and then water a plant and that herbicide would affect the plant?
Yep.
Okay. What is a permanent, and this came in capital letters, removal of thistles?
A spade.
Okay. From Lincoln, her pagoda dogwoods seeded everywhere. If she keeps mowing the turf, will they die or will they come back?
They'll eventually die. So yeah, just keep mowing.
All right, nice job. Okay, Kyle, ready?
I'm ready.
All right. From Omaha, June beetles are still out and about, yes or no? They're not sure on that, and if so, should they treat for grubs?
It can be on the tail end of June beetles, but we're starting to see some of the others like Japanese beetles now, but now is the perfect time to treat for white grubs if you have a history of those.
All right, from Blair, are there any natural predators of Japanese beetles? The soap and squish is not working for her.
Yeah, there are some things that will prey on them, but they're not native here, so we don't have anything that's really specialized on them.
All right. From Carney, a green worm is attacking petunias and geraniums. What might that be, and how do you treat it?
Tobacco budworm, and probably, just look for them in the evening. That's when they become active, and hand picking is effective. Otherwise, I think you can use spinosad, but you would want to use that in the evening.
All right. Also a nice job. And did Terry won?
Oh, wow.
Well, she shouldn't have. It should have gone to Scott.
Yep. Sorry, Scott.
I tried.
I'll share it with
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Put it on this side.
Well, we've enjoyed working with Nebraska Garden Centers and Nurseries to give us their plants of the week. Tonight, Jake Sittner from Tailored Landscape shows us a neat ornamental with a whimsical name.
This week's plant of the week is Peter Cottontail Yarrow. A lot of you know yarrow as the typical moonshine or paprika yarrow with the panicle. It's kind of a flat bloom. This one has almost a, I don't even know what, like a little carnation bloom, maybe a little bit of a baby's breath texture. The reason I find this useful in the landscapes is, number one, the texture is completely different than a lot of things. Number two, the one that we have growing that you're looking at, we haven't watered. We haven't hand watered it at all this year. That probably is a little bit of a testament to the soil it's in, but also white is a great color to build off of. Oranges, purples, yellows, whatever you want to put around it is wonderful. This one stands about 18 inches. This is one plant, So it's about 18 inches tall by about 4 feet wide. But again, the plant of the week this week is Peter Cottontail Yarrow. All right, now over to Gannon for weather.
Hey, good evening, everyone. With June ending, I figured it'd be a good time to recap a few things from this past month. Starting with the comparison to normal precipitation, you'll see a pretty typical summertime pattern. There's 2 areas of above normal precipitation that I want to highlight, with the first being here in south central Nebraska near Aurora and York, where up to 10 inches of rain fell. The other one is further west, out near Alliance, where over 4 inches of rain was reported. The 2 dry spots within the state are up in the northeast and northwest corners, where they received between 1 to 2 inches of rain. Flipping it over to changes in drought conditions, you'll see that heavy rainfall in south central Nebraska was extremely beneficial, with up to 4 categories of improvement. Out west, there wasn't many changes since they were so dry in recent weeks. However, they received ample precipitation in the back half of this month and are likely to see improvements. And that's all I have for you guys. Have a great 4th, and back to you guys.
We have announcements of great things in the gardening world. The first is Daylily Days at Harmony Nursery, everything on the screen. Our second one is Plymouth, which is the Garden Center Flower and Garden Show, Saturday, July 11th at the Plymouth Community Center. And we have Backyard Farmer at East Campus Discovery Days on Saturday, July 11th. All right, round 3, 4 questions. 1 picture from Verdun. Red raspberries are producing well. Seeing tiny aphids, they're trying to stay organic. What are on these raspberries, and can they treat them?
Yeah, these are actually sap beetles, and this is the year of sap beetles. I don't know what's going on, but we've seen them in a lot of things. They're generally attracted to like overripe or rotting fruit. So if, in that case, just make sure you're kind of picking off all of those berries as they're ripening. That can help. Otherwise, if there's still an issue, you can create some traps, and it's probably easier to just look up online. They're easy to make, but you can find instructions for how to make a trap for these online.
All right, so 1 picture, this is gooseberries. Last year looked like this. Cleaned them out, sprayed for maggots with Takedown Garden Spray RTU. What do we think here?
I'm not really sure. This is one I would love if they would actually send in a sample to the Plant and Pest Diagnostic Clinic, and we can take a look. There's a few different maggots for flies that will get into these, but they will usually cause these berries to turn a different color. So, send in a sample.
Okay. We have one from Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Kyle, this is bugs on a starry milkweed plant.
Yeah.
What are they?
These are oleander aphids, and not really a concern. If you want to just spray them off or something, that'll get rid of them.
All right, and from Lincoln, what is this bug? She wants to know what it is.
Yeah, super cool. This is a nymph or an immature of a leaf-footed bug. Unfortunately, this particular one doesn't have a common name, but it's one of the larger ones that we have in Nebraska, leaf-footed bugs.
Leaf-footed bug.
Yep.
All right, Terry, 3 pictures from Henderson. This grassy plant is taking over their rock/flower garden. She's tried several chemicals. How to get rid of it?
I think it's one of the foxtails, and it sounded like she had tried to spray and it basically just kind of kills off the top. This is an annual, so I would probably put a pre-emergent if you're not doing any kind of seeding within that area. That would actually help with it. Don't let it go to seed, and then if you want to, go out there with your spade and remove it. Otherwise, it's just an annual, so don't let it go to seed.
All right, and 3 from Ankeny, Iowa. Killed out an area with landscape fabric, pulled it up, sprigs of grass are coming through. So same thing, same kind of thing on this one?
I think this one is either a Timothy or quack grass. So these are going to be a little bit more hard to control. They're perennial. So you're going to dig them up and you're going to control them in the fall. And it's going to take multiple applications, and you can do kind of that glove of death that we talk about often.
All right, and 2 from west of Bennington, clover spreading. What should she spray it with, and will that kill the grass?
So again, we talked about this earlier as my sample. This is most likely low fertility, so you can actually just add a little bit of nitrogen to it.
Okay, thanks very much, Terry. 2, Mike, spring and summer, more prevalent than previous years. They pop up, what to do?
Yeah, they pop up, they turn inky black, and then they kind of disappear. So this is either a mica cap or an inky cap mushroom. In my yard, I just mow them, and they're actually pretty good for the turf. They decay organic matter beneath the grass.
Cool. 2 from Council Bluffs. Lawn looked fine this spring. Small patch appeared. Fungus impacted. What to do here?
Yeah, I think some of the patch diseases, we talked about this earlier in the spring, they colonize the roots, and as long as there's adequate moisture and the temperature's okay, you're in pretty good shape. And then wham, you get dry and you get hot, and the grass goes and looks like this pretty quick. So I'm guessing it's one of the patch diseases. It's going to have to be tilled up, overseeded, bring in some compost.
All right.
That's a tough thing to do at this time of the year too. So.
Right, and 2 from Lincoln. Small spots started showing up after the cool weather turned hot.
Yeah, really a close look at this. One of the things with turf pathology is to look at what species of grass. I think this was the tall fescue that's getting taken out in this image, and I think this is the beginning of some brown patch, and likely we'll see more of this with the heat and the humidity.
Okay, thank you, Mike. 2 from Lincoln, a mature red prince Weigelia had to be cut back. There it is mature, and then here it is not. Anything that he or she should do on this one?
Keep it watered, hope for the best, and maybe plant something new.
Okay. 1 from Loop City. This is a Japanese red pine. 2 liters. One is really dominant on this one. Should they trim it or just let it be?
Leave it. This is what that tree is known for. It's a multi-trunk tree from the base. It's a beautiful specimen as it matures, so leave it.
All right. 3 from Council Bluffs that are a damaged peach, and 1 that's not Council Bluffs, but this is 20 years old. Beautiful peaches. So
clean up.
Yeah.
You have nothing to lose, so go ahead, clean up that cut, get that dead stuff out. Wait, it's probably going to be fine, but maybe it's a good time to plant the replacement.
All right, and then 1 more, and she's got kind of a funny something eating the trunk on this, but she's wondering whether she should wrap it. And
maybe not so much with the wrap, but go ahead and use some like hardware cloth to just help keep critters off of the trunk of the plant.
All right, thank you very much. Well, we stumbled onto a mystery in our garden last week. We had 2 brassica family plants, cabbage and broccoli, planted right next to each other, and only the cabbage was torn up by an insect. Let's hear from Kate about why one was munched and the others were ignored.
Here in the Backyard Farmer Garden, we've come across something a little bit interesting. Here we have side by side a cabbage and a broccoli plant, and while the broccoli is looking pretty good, the cabbage has clearly seen some better days. Both of these plants are very closely related, and they're often favorites to insect pests like flea beetles or cabbage worms. So why is one of these plants being eaten up and the other isn't? Well, there could be a couple of different possibilities. It could simply be that the cabbage plant is tastier. It's like how we use trap crops because one plant is more attractive than the other. In addition to that, plants have their own unique defenses. Just like we people have immune systems, plants can produce chemicals or physical structures that make it more resistant to certain insects or diseases. So if you've had a history of insect or disease problems in your garden, you can try to choose cultivars or varieties that are actually more resistant to these issues. So next year, when it comes time to plant, look for plants in different cultivars that might save your plant from insect pests.
And I guess that's like us. We don't know what we like until we try it. Okay, so from Columbus, Kyle, what kind of bug is this, and is it beneficial? I think this is the only picture he sent, but at least he put a penny in there.
Yeah, this actually looks like a sand chafer, which is also commonly called false Japanese beetle. Not beneficial, but not really as bad as a Japanese beetle.
Is anything?
No.
Okay, 1 picture from western Otoe County. They found this beauty on a green bean leaf. He's saying 1.25 inches long, about the same for wingspan. Looks beautiful, but is it or is it not?
Yeah, it's a tiger moth. This particular group, this genus, they're not really pests of anything.
Okay. One from Omaha, and then her question is this beautiful moth a common variety, and what was it before, and is it beneficial?
Unfortunately, I'm not sure. It looks like we're just seeing the underside of the wings here, and so I need to see the top side to really give an ID.
Okay, so we don't know, but it's pretty.
It is, yeah.
And one more, and this is Omaha, wondering what kind of bug this is. It popped like a clicker in her hand.
Well, it's a click beetle. Yeah, this is a very large, impressive beetle. They're called eyed click beetles.
And do they bite or?
No, they don't. But when you grab them or something and they click, it can be startling.
All right, fun. And I don't think we've had a click beetle yet this year. So, Terry, you have, oh boy, 3 pictures on this. This is from an Omaha viewer. It's a great question. How do you tell the difference between bindweed, vining milkweed, and invasive clematis when they're all mixed together in the same spots?
Well, most likely you're going to take them all out anyway. So bindweed is going to have much more of a arrow-shaped leaf, I guess, with white or pink flowers. And then the milkweed is going to have flowers that are much more of a cluster, even though they are also kind of usually white or pinky looking. But when you pull them, they're going to have that milky sap. And then the clematis will have alternate leaves, so they're going to be opposite each other, and they're going to be much more kind of lanceolated ish. And then they're going to have more of those little tendrils that are crawling up instead of the actual plant crawling up.
All right.
Does that make sense? I hope.
Sounds like a good segment. And then you have one picture from Midtown Omaha, and it's interesting. It came to you. It's wild strawberries, like the ones pictured, and are they edible? And is this really wild strawberry, or do we know because we can't see the flowers?
I couldn't quite see the flower, but technically, yes, you can eat them, but I would not eat them because basically it's all seed, and these are not tasty at all. So just leave them or get rid of them, whatever you want to do with them.
Okay, Mike, this is fun, growing on a large old maple tree. What sort of mushroom is this?
Yeah, it's a very cool mushroom. That's for sure. A neat specimen. I need to spend a little bit more time with this. It kind of looks like a puffball, but maybe not. But it's a neat fungus, and I'd keep watching it and sending some pictures as it evolves.
Great. And then you have 3 that are kind of back to back, so I'll give them to you all back to back to back. Yellow growth from Lincoln is one, and then this person thought this was dog vomit, and then one that kind of came from somebody who might be sitting in the path chair.
Yeah, this is like my favorite slime mold, and they're all the same. It's these are slime molds or myxomycetes, and this is called the dog barf fungus, and it typically grows on mulch. It's pretty neat to see. It will dry up and just go away.
Perfect, as opposed to needing rubber gloves.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. It's pretty cool. The kids love it.
Yes. Okay, Scott, 2 pictures from Norfolk, 2 hanging baskets with vincas in them. Every year the leaves turn yellow. They try to water only when dry, full sun all day. What do we think here?
With vinca flowers prefer larger containers, or they do better in the ground. It might be a little bit too small, but if you're reusing the same container year to year, make sure that you're cleaning it, sanitizing it with 1 part bleach to 10 parts water, just in case there might be any type of disease in there, so you don't carry it forward to the next year.
All right, good advice. From southwestern Cass County, one picture. They saw this beautiful flowering plant. Can we identify it?
Yes, this is an oriental lily, and this cultivar is called Altari, almost like Atari, the game, but not really. It's beautiful. It has that white outer flower with that pink eye. Really popular in the marketplace for about the last 10 years.
Wonderful. All right, and one picture from Council Bluffs. He acquired these seeds and he does not know what these are.
This is Zebrina. It's a zebra mallow. Really nice looking plant. It can self-seed, so it might pop up elsewhere in the landscape, so keep that in mind. But it could be a perennial, maybe a biannual, just really depends. But it's a nice plant.
And if our viewers could see Terry nodding her head on the self-seeding, they would understand that she doesn't really like things that self-seed into her garden.
Some of them are good.
Some of them are good. Some of the rest of us say the more the merrier, because then there can't be weeds.
The less we have to plant.
The less we have to plant and the less we have to control, and life is good, and eat dessert first. And we do, unfortunately, have to say, we've run out of time for tonight's Backyard Farmer. Thank you so much to everybody who submitted a question and to our panel for another great show. Next time on Backyard Farmer, we'll take our cameras to Sunken Gardens here in Lincoln and see how they're complementing the International Quilt Museum's Material Nation 250 events. So good night, good gardening, good 4th of July, and we will see you all next week right here on Backyard Farmer.